Welcome to the Beef Boys, Whoever's Online Spectacular, starring Andrew Miller and me, Miller, and if I had to guess, probably James in 15 minutes. Miller. It is fun doing little cute episodes too, though. The vibe is different.
I'm always petrified of getting a comment of like, damn, Andrew cannot carry an episode. And then I'm going to kill.
Surprise, he can. I really liked the episode, just you and James.
Thank you,
dude. Talking about your school sports and shit for like an hour. It was actually really interesting because I'm not from that world.
Not from the sports world.
I've played one sport and it was squash and I was okay at it, but I couldn't because I visited my dad on the weekends. I couldn't do most sports because the commitments involve playing on Saturdays or Sundays. And I would rather see my dad.
That makes sense.
Than play rugby. So.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, also rugby is like just guaranteed injuries.
It's weird. I mean, it certainly is, especially as like a kid, but it is kind of gnarly how maybe you just don't hear it as much because Americans are very loud. But like, it seems like football, the injuries are way worse than rugby, like American football.
Really?
I think
interesting.
I think the armor has a big part to do with it. And I know there's probably a name for that, but I'm calling it the armor because that's what it is.
It's just the shoulder pads. It's just
well, that and the head, because rugby, you don't have a helmet.
Yeah,
you don't have it. So like,
yeah, it is armor.
The same thing is true about boxing. Apparently, bare knuckle boxing was actually safer than padded boxing.
Yeah, I have to imagine it's like, well, I've got the stuff on, so I'm gonna use it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, give it my all to slam into somebody.
Every time I've like done gardening and I put on like gardening gloves, you're like, I can do anything. Like I can grab all the gross shit I'd never touch. I can fucking hold on to like spiky ass, sticks and shit. Like, you feel like a god with gloves on. So
I'm invincible.
Yeah. But apparently with bare knuckle boxing, it was because obviously your face is all bone, no breaks. And so if you punch someone's face with your bare hands, like your hand is going to break because it's just going to be hitting bone. Hurts. So apparently mostly boxing used to be like chest hits and like other, non-head based stuff, which like hurts, but like it's more like it more wears you down. But it's not like you can't punch.
The next day, your chest is just going to be like mushy muscle. It's going to be black and blue.
It would hurt, but as
awful mustard color. Dude, have you ever had a bruise that had like got the yellowish tint to it? That's when you knew you hit it hard.
I believe being a woman is just waking up with those in random places and being like, I don't know where I got this.
I don't know where this came from. Courtney has. Actually, you know what? Courtney never has bruises on her body. Our women don't randomly have bruises pop up on them. Actually, we want to put that out there.
My friend's ex was a cricket player, and so she just had like, and I don't know if you've ever held a cricket ball. That thing is just a rock. That thing is like probably the hardest ball that exists in sport.
Yeah, I mean, it looks similar to like. Have you ever held like a baseball or a softball? Yeah,
but like a baseball's soft compared to like a
okay, yeah, I was gonna say
much harder.
Like a softball to a croquet ball, because croquet balls are also just like completely solid.
Yeah, I think croquet is probably the closest I can think of. Okay. But anyway, so she would get like nailed in the legs with those, and just so regularly had fucking massive like welts or big bruises on her legs, which was great for him because it covered it up.
Do you understand how cricket works?
No.
Okay, I didn't know if you, having grown up around it, understood how it works. I've watched so many clips of it, and generally, if I watch a sport long enough, I can understand.
You can piece it out.
I have not figured out cricket.
I know like that you run from side to side. I know that you fucking smack that bitch. It's you like baseball, I guess, where if you get caught out between the wickets and you're fucked, but I don't know why it takes fucking 3 days to do one game. I don't know why.
I completely forgot that it also lasts days.
I'm
what a crazy sport.
I'm not really sure the appeal. Shout out if you're into that. I was just remember there was this guy in high school who, like, while all of us were out like smoking pussy and getting weed, like he was fucking. I remember we'd see him on Monday and we'd be like, "What'd you do on the weekend?" He'd be like, "Yeah, I just sat in my chair and watched a game of cricket for 12 hours." no, not 12 hours, but, like 8 hours straight. And I was like, man, I would actually rather kill myself. But I'm glad he enjoyed it.
He's getting his enjoyment out of it. He's getting his serotonin, whatever it takes.
But anyway, I don't think you can punch someone hard enough to make their fucking heart explode. So I think bare knuckle boxing used to be a lot safer.
Interesting.
Because you just tire each other out instead of getting knocked out, I suppose. And as soon as we put padding on gloves, it was like, damn, I can fucking nail this idiot in the head as much as I want. And then obviously your little brains.
My hands don't hurt all that much.
So your brain's like getting just tossed around like a salad. And I think it's the same for football. I think because it's like, well, I've got all this fucking padding on, so I can like charge twice as hard into this dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna absolutely lay this kid the fuck out.
Isn't there a lot of shit as well? Like I'm speaking out of my ass here, so feel free to correct me in the comments. Literally everyone, and Andrew. But isn't it like, isn't your helmet also kind of like doing your head around a little bit? Because like, your head will go back and your brain will move back with it, and then it fucking bangs into the back of your helmet. And then that probably like adds to it.
I think I know what you're referencing. And I don't know if that was maybe on older helmets.
Sure.
Like older, like the way maybe like the technology has gotten better over time.
Yeah.
But I mean, dude still be getting CTE, like, they're collecting shit like Pokemon.
Maybe it's just underreported in the sporting world here, but yeah, very rarely do I hear of like old rugby players who fucking go on murderous rampages. Like you definitely, they get injured for sure. Like those guys are fucking like smashing into each other. I have heard of it for Aussie rules football, which is what we watched the grand final of. I don't know why that has more injuries. Maybe there is a shitload of injuries in rugby and I've just never noticed, but I have heard that the CTE is especially bad in American football, and I think that is due to the armor. Was it one time I would have
to assume so.
I was staying at some friend's place and we just like had the TV on and we ended up watching some fucking like 3-part documentary on this like football player who like just straight up went on like a murderous rampage.
Oh, Aaron Hernandez?
I think that was him. That was crazy though. I know. Yeah, it was all. Didn't he like? They studied.
Oh wait, no. Hang on. He did kill somebody, and then he ended up. I think he killed himself in prison. Is that the same guy?
Might have been.
Or is this a different guy?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
He played for the Patriots back in the day. I remember when that all happened. That shit was crazy.
There was that other guy who shot himself in the chest because he wanted them to study his brain because he was like, I feel like something's wrong with me.
It's probably an accurate guess on his part if he wanted to shoot himself in the chest.
Yeah, that doesn't come from sound mind. Please figure me out. I read that about there was like a serial killer who was like that too. He fucking, like, when he died, I think he killed himself or he was just dying of natural causes in prison or some shit. But he was like, can you please, mummy, please study my brain. I feel like something's wrong with me, mummy. And they did.
Please study my big, awesome brain. See what's wrong with me. What made me kill so many people.
But turns out he actually had a tumor. He had like a tumor that was like fucking with the part of your brain that I guess feels empathy or something or other like that. Or the part of your brain that tells you not to go on a violent rampage.
Dude, that's crazy that just a little thing can grow on your brain and your entire humanity, your entire, like, the thing that separates us from animals is gone.
It's just
like, yeah, I'm going to kill some people.
It's interesting that it's like files on a computer. Like if you just you can just delete this one little part, but like the rest of the computer still works. It just doesn't have that file now. So you can just remove empathy.wav and keep cooking. I mean, that's essentially the idea of fucking, what is it? Lobotomies. Which is also probably the most scary thing I can think of.
Dude, that shit genuinely freaks me out. Like the age of fucked up medical science.
Yeah.
Where people were kind of experimenting, and especially insane asylums where someone could just kind of say, hey, this person's insane.
Yeah, they're not doing anything. Let's just fucking pull their eyes out and see what happens. I wonder if people will look back on any of our current medical practices.
The COVID vaccine.
Vaccines in general, though, are kind of like one of those crazy, impressive human feats that for some reason, have been gotten a bad rap lately.
I mean, every time humans do something good, there's a group of people that are like, but what if we didn't?
What if we wanted polio, actually. I think that was the problem. The vaccines were too good. They should have kept a few people with polio around so we could put them in a fucking zoo or something and be like, see?
Yeah, see what happens?
Because you don't see polio, but you see Facebook posts about autism. So you're like, well, I guess that's the only thing that comes out of this vaccine, because I've never seen polio. So why do we need the vaccine?
Yeah. Well, hi, welcome to Iron Lung podcast discussion number 3. What is it fucked up to put someone in an iron lung in like a zoo-like contraption? Because like they can't move anyway. So if you just give them like the normal shit they had, I feel like we could do that. Just have like.
Oh, yeah. Well, at first
what happens if we get rid of vaccines.
Yeah, exactly. What they should do is have like the iron lung experience, where it's like you can climb into one and be like, well, here's what's going to happen. Sorry, your mum read a Facebook post. This is your future, idiot.
Dumbass. I'd be like staring at the fucking ceiling.
I remember the saddest like anti-vax thing I ever saw was some baby needed I think when babies are born, they obviously fucking pump them full of like all the mind control chemicals and shit from the vaccines. But one of them is the
Microsoft chemicals.
Yeah, one of them is like a vitamin K, I think, because I don't know what the fuck vitamin K does.
Ketamine.
Yeah, they put a baby in the K hole. That's why babies are so fucked up for the first like year or two.
Yeah, little known fact, they actually put every baby born in the United States straight into a K hole, and that's why they look funny for the first month. They have to wear off. That's why we can't speak till we're like almost 1 or 2.
Yeah, if you didn't have
depends on how bad of a K-hole you're in.
You could actually speak at like age 3, but day 3. Apparently, vitamin K is like some shit that babies need. It's like it's a vitamin. You know, like you could probably give it to them in gummy form if they could chew, but they can't, so they have to fucking inject it in them. But apparently, it's like. It's like a small chance, obviously, like 1%. But like if the baby doesn't have that, it can just fucking like God can just KO it out the starting gate. And some like anti-vax family was like, no, we're not giving that to our baby. No, we're not doing that.
No, and then, no vitamin K for you.
And then sure enough, the baby got like the one thing vitamin K is meant to prevent. I can't remember what it is, but
awesome.
Then the baby was just like just fucking mangled for life, like.
The baby was like, let's go.
I think it either died or fucking like was just, you know, permanently disabled for life. Like can't see or as a vegetable or something like.
Oh, right. Yeah, cool. Vitamin K helps with blood. It helps your blood clot. Right. So like if you're really vitamin K deficient, you're prone to just bleeding out over small cuts. Sure.
Like, is that hemophilia? Hemoglobin?
It also... Yeah, something like that. Hemoglobin. It also prevents the calcification or hardening of heart arteries.
Ah, that's something you don't want.
So yeah, it's basically like vitamin K is your oil change.
Yeah, literally. So when a baby comes out, you need to top that shit up. Crazy, you just have to do that once. You get one vitamin K injection as a kid, and that lasts for most of your life. I can't actually think of what gives you vitamin K. Definitely one of the more underrated vitamins. You know, vitamin C, probably the best, probably the most marketable vitamin.
Yeah, it's got to be that one or vitamin D.
Vitamin D. So you can't market vitamin D though, because you just go outside and you get it for free. So like,
well, I mean, Sunny D. At least in the States, Sunny D managed to market the sun in drink form, which is pretty impressive now that I think about it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about this the other day.
Y'all ever heard of the sun?
What if
you drank that shit?
What if we squeeze the sun into a beautiful glass? I was thinking about this the other day. I don't feel like I look especially youthful, but I am 30. And
I think you look, maybe it's just because I'm about to be 28.
You're dying.
And so everybody around my age looks youthful, but I don't think any of us look like we're in our 30s, but maybe we do to younger people.
Well, but that's my point. Sure, compared to, if you tried to have me fucking playing a high school kid in a fucking Disney Channel original, no. I'm past that. I've come to terms with that.
I think you could do it, dude.
But I got ID'd the other day in the at the liquor store, and the rule here is 25 or under. Like it's so stupid. You have to be 18 to drink, but if you look up to 25, they're meant to ID you. So I guess they were like, maybe this dude looks 25. But the point is that when the woman saw my ID, she was like, oh, like she was like surprised. And I was like, oh,
nice.
That's interesting that she was surprised. And then I was thinking about it later. I wonder if our generation is going to just generally age better because we're inside a lot more than pretty much every generation that's come before.
I think when you see
those posts on Twitter and shit where it's like, oh, here's, the sitcom from the 80s and here's what a 30-year-old looks like, and it's like George Costanza who looks like he's like that would be a 45-year-old man today.
It's like, yeah, yeah. This is what the average hilariously fat 35-year-old looked like, and it was just George Costanza.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like with everything we've talked, I feel like it's probably just going to get more polarized than what it was, because I feel like as a whole, the Earth's population was probably significantly healthier as far as like physical activity goes the farther you go back. So I don't know, we're gonna have really fat people who don't go outside and die early, and people who stay healthy and stay inside, and so they just age better. So I feel like we're gonna see a big polar split.
But I feel like
the average looking person is gonna die out.
Yeah, I suppose I'm thinking more just exclusively external, like skin and stuff, because like obviously the more you stay in, the less sun you get, and the sun is just obviously the worst thing in the world you can have working on your skin. Like that shit fucking gives you wrinkles. That shit like dries you out. Not good. Not good for looking youthful anyway. So I do wonder.
But it's good for feeling good and looking good.
Very true.
Am I right, everybody?
That is the tragic point. I think the only reason I even think about that is because I had one of my mates. He's like 4 or 5 years older than me, I think. So he's like in his mid to late 30s, I believe. And he looks really young. Like he looks like he's about our age or younger. And I remember like one time asking him like, oh, you're like pretty young looking for a guy of your age. Like, what's the secret? And
what's the secret?
He was like, oh yeah, I had like a skin cancer scare in my like, I think he was like in his early 20s or like in his teens, and like managed, it went into remission, I guess. But ever since then, like I guess the advice was don't go out too much. So I think he's
that'll do it, dude. That'll
he doesn't
do it.
go out a shitload, and then when he does, he's like very anal with the sunscreen or whatever. So
with the sunscreen,
so that's what made me think. Well, I've never had a skin cancer scare, but I still don't go out as much as, I don't know, an outdoorsman or someone who plays sports or whatever. So I do wonder if that is gonna long term have all the gamers looking youthful and spry.
Everybody got the glowing skin, no leather, leather looking motherfuckers anymore.
Yeah, like I wonder what like a 70-year-old millennial is gonna look like. Are we gonna look like we're 50?
I think there's I definitely think people are, especially dudes, are coming around on it's okay to take care of your skin. I think farther back you go, it was like, what the hell? I ain't putting no goddamn lotion on. Which, if I'm being honest with myself, I don't put no goddamn lotion on.
I try. It's something I know I need to get better at, and I have tried several times, but I can just never like get into a routine.
I have really sensitive skin.
Me too, which is probably why I should be doing it.
Anytime my hands like skin gets wet, I hate touching other shit because my skin and fingertips just get all sensitive feeling. So lotion just makes blech. I don't like the way that shit feels.
I don't know, like having sticky fingers or whatever from like holding like candy or chocolate or whatever. Yeah, or pussy. No, that's the one I make an exception for. That's a good feeling. What's that saying?
Letting it drip off my fingers.
What's their saying? It's like, smell your fingers. If it smells like pussy or weed, life ain't too bad.
Yeah, I think that was like my favorite MLK quote.
He actually he said that. That's how he rounded out his "I have a dream" speech. that was for the streets.
And, and if this civil rights shit don't work out, smell your fingers. If it smells like pussy or weed, life's not so bad.
Yeah, everything's gonna be all right. Yeah. It is funny how much
we got both.
It's interesting how recent that whole macho, like, I'm not gonna put lotion on, I'm not gay. Like, it's funny, you see all this sort of shit, and then you go back like several hundred years, and like everyone took really good care of themselves. Like the men, you know, it was not a gay thing. It's funny how much the whole like the fear of homosexuality and like the perceived. Like, it's like, for some reason, we just decided this thing is homosexual, like, to look after your skin is like a gay trait. But I'm sure, like, your granddad in, like, the fucking 30s was probably, like, lotioning his shit on the rig, you know?
Yeah, my dad always lotioned his hands because, I mean, he did cabinets and carpentry and shit, so his hands are, you know, getting fucked up all the time. You're dealing with dust, which just dries your shit.
My granddad had like an impeccable head of hair that he like styled every morning with, you know, like this very specific kind of like, awesome. hair gel shit, which isn't like, that's not a gay thing, obviously, but it's funny, like that kind of stuff. Yeah, well, I don't know, it is funny how that came about randomly. Like everyone just started to like, it really is fully like schizophrenic shit. It's like, what are the gays doing? I must do the opposite. What is it? I need the gays
to know
doing?
Everything they're doing.
It's like, what do I think the gays are doing? And then I don't want to do that.
Bro, you're spending way too much time thinking about what the gays are doing for a straight man.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly.
It's like, come on.
There was one thing I saw.
What are you doing?
I think it was like a Reddit post or something. I can't remember, like an Ask Reddit thing, but it was like this dude who refused to like clean his asshole in the shower because he thought like doing anything with your asshole was gay. And it's like, well, it depends what you're using it for, man. You should be washing your ass. But it's that kind of thinking, right? Like just that kind of like, I'm not going to do anything. If I wipe my ass too much, that's gay.
If my finger comes even slightly too close to my rectum,
I just don't wipe anymore.
Pussy. It's over. I'm gay. I have to give it up.
And it's because it's a very it's funny. That's like sort of how Chris Chan used to behave, but it's a very ironically more gay than not doing that, because that was the thing with Chris Chan. I suppose it's the thing with a lot of these very homophobic people, was that there's kind of this implied fear that if they even slightly dip their toes into the world of homosexuality, like it's over. Like they're not resolute in their beliefs. They don't feel like, oh no, I'm straight. This is all good. I can watch gay porn and not be swayed. But it seems like damn, I'm 2 seconds away at any point from being converted.
Yeah, only the straightest men are a moment's notice away from becoming extremely gay.
The same with all the fucking like gay stuff or trans stuff for schools and shit. It's like if all it took for your child to turn trans or turn gay was to find out that they exist in a classroom, it's like they probably already were, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
they just didn't know what the word for it was.
They're gonna find out eventually. It's like you should encourage your kid to be who they are, not keep them from that.
That's the kind of thing, I suppose I think about that a lot when I see this, like the rise in, like, I don't know if there is actually a rise in anti-gay rhetoric or if it's just like how it seems on Twitter, which is just a fucking cesspit. But it's also
I don't know if it's anti-gay recently. It's I mean it is for sure, but like I think the main thing they're harping on is anti-trans stuff, at least in the States. The States, that's what I've seen the most of.
But people just seem to be pissed off at like anything related to like the LGBT. Like, we need to get this out of our dang schools.
Yeah, that's the woke agenda.
Yeah, exactly. But I suppose that what I always come back to is just like, well, what are we supposed to do with them? Because it's like there are gay people.
Yeah, well, you want to be careful who you ask that question to, because you'll get some wild answers.
But but to me that's a fascinating I don't know, just idea. It's like, well, here's some people who through nature or nurture have ended up in the place they are, and they didn't ask for this any more than you did, and now we have and now what? It's like they are who they are, dude. They be there. And if we want to go,
be there.
If we want to go spiritual, God made them like that. So, what's the go there? What are we supposed to do with these folks? Because we can stop teaching about them and take away their right to marry, but they're still just there. That gravity still affects them the same as you. They're not floating off into space. So it's, I don't know, I always just find that fascinating. And yeah, like obviously there's never going to be an answer that satisfies, because there is none, but it's interesting.
Yeah. I've even before I was like really swinging leftward, socially, politically, whatever, as a younger person. Even then, I remember being like, man, there is really, like in the Bible, there's two, maybe three things you can find where homosexuality is actually stated. But the issue with those translations is, which a bunch of like friends of mine who are still in the church and who are like, one of my best friends is a youth pastor. All of them, a lot of progressive Christians coming up, all agree on this, that somebody, because the word homosexual and homosexuality, I don't think was even invented till way after the Bible was written.
So yeah.
And if you look at the translation of the first time it's mentioned, I believe, is in the Old Testament, be like Leviticus. I think that's the one a lot of people try and throw out. And that had to do with the story of, do you know Sodom and Gomorrah? Does that ring a bell? Okay.
Yeah.
So in that story,
the town of fucking and weed.
The town of fucking.
The town where everyone's fingers smell like pussy and weed at all times.
And weed. So life's not that bad if you think about it. So for anybody who doesn't know, Sodom and Gomorrah, horrifically sinful town. And this one guy, Lot, had family there, and he was like, God, I need to get my family out. If one person in there...
Get me out of LA.
He basically is like, if 100 people believe in you, will you save it? And God's like... Yeah, and then he goes to the town and
he did those
bargains with God all the way down to one person. He's like, God, if one person in there, will you save the town?
Those old Facebook posts where it's like they get some fucking child to hold up a piece of paper or like a piece of cardboard that's like, if my daddy gets 10,000 likes, he's going to take me to Disneyland. Please like and share.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I think he goes in there. He ends up meeting an angel, I think, and some people from the town burst in there, and they're like, we saw you come in with this guy. We want to take him out and rap him. And somehow, instead of the sin there being rape,
which I think
sexual
is
assault,
a pretty universally agreed on sin.
Yeah, that's a good, easy one. That's a layup of, a sin for a religion to take a stance on. For some reason, they took the issue that it was gay. So that's their stance on the Old Testament one. The New Testament
not
stuff.
That rape is bad, specifically
gay rape is bad.
Yeah.
You can't do that shit. And then the New Testament ones that you can find, I think there's really only one, and it's in some of the letters that the Apostle Paul wrote.
Yeah.
Which are a bunch of different books of the Bible. And in that one, he is writing to one of the churches in Greece. And in it, he makes the mention of, like, God abhors murderers, thieves, and in the translation that a lot of people have now, it says homosexuals.
Yeah.
But if you look at the context of what that city was in historical sense, not just a biblical sense, that city was very, very prominent, and as we all know with the Greeks, they be fucking little boys.
Oh, they be going to town on those little guys.
The common thought, at least for people who lean my way, of the translation and the context, if we preach this religion of Jesus loves people and it's a religion of, loving thy neighbor and shit, what would make more sense for God to abhor alongside murderers and, these terrible people, pedophiles or a gay guy?
Yeah, gay guy.
so like none of the stuff that they be saying recently makes any sense. It's literally just a bunch of people who are like, well, it says it in the book. It says it right there in the book. And it's like, dude, you've had thousands and thousands of translations of this shit over the years. Can you not figure out how to read something with context clues?
Yeah, no.
Are you stupid?
But it doesn't fit my agenda.
The answer is yes.
It doesn't fit my unwoke agenda.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of funny. It would be sweet if Jesus showed up and was like just unequivocally him, you know? Because like, first of all, if Jesus showed up, he'd be brown, and that would probably piss a lot of people off. But then it would be very funny if he showed up and like just started performing miracles, like just straight up was like fucking boom, like making like just there's no way it is not him. Like this is what he's doing.
Like he comes back and it's me, bitch.
Yeah, and he proves to everyone, and then he like fully hits them with the like, hey, why the fuck are you being so mean to everyone? Like just
hey guys, been a couple thousand years. I think when I left, I gave you a very short list of things to do, and it was love thy neighbor as thyself. And tell people about me. Those were the two things he left with us.
And try not to kill each other if you can.
Yeah, exactly. That was about it. You failed on all three counts.
Yeah. Can you imagine like the whole world, but especially just the American like social system, just how like what would happen if he came if literal Jesus fucking rocked up, was like, hey, stop that.
Stop it.
Stop being so mean to everyone. And then went to like fucking Congress and was like, why are you bombing everyone? This isn't chill.
I genuinely, with all my heart,
they would
obviously there would be
again.
No, absolutely. But there'd be a chunk of Christians, like assuming this is all real. Jesus is legitimately back.
He shows up. He's fucking
people
turning.
Like me,
science can't explain his miracles. It is truly the Son of God.
Water turned into wine. He's walking on water. He's healing people's polio because that came back.
yeah.
Because of the anti-vaxxers, which he also makes a point to be like, y'all dumb. If that came, he came back, people who think like me would all be like, holy shit.
I
was right.
Yeah.
I was right. Let's go. Like,
he would win a lot of people over. I mean, if that happened, I'd probably be like, wow, I can't argue with the facts.
Well,
I'm in.
Looks like my choice is made for me. But I do also 100% believe a large group of specifically the American right-wing church would say Antichrist.
Yeah. No, he's
like,
actually
this guy's the Antichrist. He's faking us out. We gotta shoot him.
Guys, we have to crucify. That definitely feels like a South Park episode, and it probably has been. So, I haven't seen.
I know they've done a Jesus episode before.
They've definitely done a few.
Hearing about it as a little kid because a lot of Christians were like,
yeah.
They're not happy about that.
That does sound like a South Park episode. Like he comes back and he's like the opposite of what a lot of the fundamentalists think. And then they crucify him a second time because they don't like what he has to say, even though what he's saying is just what's in the Bible. That would be a funny episode.
Except this time it's not, because in the Bible Jesus is prophesied to be crucified. It's all part of the plan. The second time it wasn't part of the plan, so he just goes back up, and God's like, I don't know, man. We might have to give up on this.
Yeah. We'll
no one wants to believe your ass.
That would be. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what else is new? Hey, we started playing World of Warcraft. That was very fun.
We did, yeah. And I
got everyone into World of Warcraft because I'm a piece of shit. I also got Jay into Magic the Gathering. So pretty much like, I'm like a drug dealer except with I just
time sink good games.
Times. Yeah. Good times. Probably worse things to be addicted to.
It is a vibe. I always figured it would be, but I wasn't quite sure if I'd be able to dive into it. And then I just started cooking and playing it, and I was like, oh no,
this really is a
I get
world.
It. I get it. The color. I love the way the game looks. It reminds me of so many games I played growing up that just kind of fill you with this sense of like, oh,
I think one of the first things for me was opening the map. When I first started playing in 2006 or whenever it came out, I remember opening the map and
okay, OG,
like seeing how fucking big, like this, just the starting area, I was like, damn, this is a big ass, like, you know, I've been running around this area for what feels like ages, and it's like, you know, I've only seen a little bit of it. And then you right click, which like zooms you out, and I was like, whoa, there's a whole continent. You zoom out again, there's a whole fucking world, there's a whole other continent. I think just that blew my fucking mind. The game is probably one of the best like senses of scale, I think, in any like video game, especially any MMO.
Yeah, I feel like I would say RuneScape, but just the way RuneScape is set up, it doesn't, the scaling doesn't hit the same just because of how it's top down and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of feels like, yeah, no, this makes sense that there's such an expansive.
It still does feel big, I suppose, just because the method of getting around.
It is still
RuneScape
fucking massive, though.
Yeah, and it's still big. I suppose more just the method of getting around RuneScape isn't as satisfying. You know, like it's very like the movement in the game is like kind of arse. But you know, that's the restriction of the format. It is what it is. So, but like World of Warcraft, because it is like a third person kind of action RPG type thing, like you can run around everywhere, and like later you unlock like the ability to fly between places, and then when you get your mount, you're like zooming around as well. It feels, yeah, just the method of traversal definitely goes a long way to make it feel big.
It kind of feels like Valheim as far as how you end up discovering more and more stuff. Because I remember playing Valheim with James and Jerry for the first time. Yeah. And, you know, you get to explore like a little bit, and then we would find new stuff, and a little patch would unlock, and then you zoom out. Dude, the Valheim maps, because it's procedural.
Yeah.
It's fucking massive.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if anybody's ever like explored an entire map yet.
Someone for sure
don't know if
Don't underestimate the power of people having with nothing free to do. Time. I often feel like I'm a piece of shit who does fucking no work, but then I often like see the achievements people pull off in video games where I'm like, oh no, maybe I actually, because I play
maybe
games.
I do consume this at a regular pace.
I be gaming, but I still have to I still do a lot of work each day around that. But like when I see the people who, and this might be some of the audience, so shout out to you, but when I see people who, like, especially who stick to a game, like I don't really have any like attention disorders that I know of, but and I'm usually pretty good at like finishing a game and moving on to the next one. But when I hear people who, there's some people who only play WoW and they play it every day for several hours, you know, or a few hours a day.
Yeah, that is crazy.
They collect every single thing in the game. They level up every class. They do every. I mean, even just RuneScape is probably the pinnacle of like autistic achievements when you see just the insane. Like some people have maxed accounts on both regular Iron Man and hardcore Iron Man, like all three. Which, you know, each one of those alone is what, like several thousand hours of playtime.
It's an insane amount of playtime
to do it on one, and then someone's done it on hardcore mode, where if you die once, like that, you just lose that title. Like that is an insane achievement to me. And then people have done, you know, maxed out RuneScape characters with like crazy restrictions, like self-imposed restrictions on it, where they can't use X, Y, Z, or you know. It's gnarly. It is insane.
Yeah, I can't focus on something for that long. I will. That's just so much to put into one game. Yeah, I can't even fathom doing that. Especially with the amount of repetition you would need to do with that.
I'm pretty good at dealing with grindy stuff. Like, again, I've grown up playing MMOs, so like I do like a bit of, you know, a little bit of a grind here and there. But I'm not the sort of dude who, like, if I'm not having fun with something, I won't stick it out for ages. You know, like, again, something like WoW or RuneScape, like, there's occasionally going to be parts where it's like, oh, all right, unfortunately, between now and the goal I want is just going to be like an hour or two of fucking running the same dungeon over and over again, or killing the same monster over and over again. And I'll do that. But there's a limit to how much I'll do that. Like, I'll probably do that 2 or 3 times before I'm like, I'm actually just not having fun with this game anymore. And then I'll move on to a game where I am. But then a lot of other people will like just start a video game, play it for 20 minutes, then be like, and then go back to fucking Fortnite. So compared to some people, I probably have a good attention span. Compared to others, maybe not. I don't even think it's an attention thing. It's just like I just value my time more, that I don't want to just spend it doing something repetitive if I'm not enjoying it.
I can't stare at. Well, I mean, I guess I sort of do, just because of the jobs we have. Yeah. Staring at screens for too long makes my brain feel like it's melting.
I probably have like that, but it's also
a bowl of Jello.
My main source of entertainment. So I probably get in situations just like, man, I should take a break, but also, what else would I do? So I guess I wish I could get my brain figured out as far as my ability to enact my creative drives and stuff, because the only other thing I enjoyed doing that wouldn't need a screen is writing. Because I do really like sketching, just writing stuff in a notebook. It sticks with you more. Yeah. It's also just, it feels better. You can go do it anywhere. You can do it outside, just right away. You're not staring at a screen. There's no other way you can like leave the notepad to go browse some social media. Because that is good. I also really liked drawing. I suck at it, but I liked it when I was really little, and I'd love to get back into it. But likewise, I gotta figure out the old noodle brain first. The old noodle source. Yeah, I think. I do like the idea of just getting to a point where, like a PewDiePie level. Not okay, that's a bit pie in the sky, but getting to the point where, because PewDiePie just he's so fucking rich, he's good. I don't need anywhere near as much money as him to be content. I mean, I'm exceptionally content with what I'm doing right now. Anything more than this is pretty much I just like to have a fucking house so that I can have some security. Our lease is up soon, and I'm sure we're gonna get it renewed for another 12 months. I don't know why we wouldn't. But there is the fear that they could just up the rent at some insane degree.
Dude, renting
rent has been going crazy around here, and it's I have plans for this whole office. I want to change my desk and mount stuff on the walls and do all this shit, but it's they could just they could just decide, no, we don't want you there anymore. Fuck you, get out.
Yeah.
So I pretty much just want a house where I'm this is my house. Like Dopex's house. Phenomenal place. Love that house. So cozy. So much just knowing this is mine. No one's ever gonna evict me from this. I can fucking do whatever I want with it. I don't have to. Just that security, knowing this is it, would be very nice. That's pretty much all my goal is right now. Other than that, everything's pretty chill. Life's good.
I think that's pretty much the goal of most people our age. Is God damn, man.
Just get.
If I could just own a house.
Yeah, I just want one house.
The market is extremely, extremely fucked.
Yeah, I don't I genuinely don't know how to compete. I know people. I have several friends who do own houses back home, so I know it is possible. But especially around here, it just sounds you roll up to an auction and some guy in a suit who represents some fucking property management company or someone who already owns 10 properties is just gonna outbid you, and there's nothing you can do. Or some boomers
that shit should
roll
be
up
illegal.
wanting their second home, and they're just also gonna outbid you because they got lucky and were born fucking 60 years before you were. It's just shit like that where it's I don't know what the fucking solution is. Maybe the government should just make it you can't own more than one property, which is probably
100%. I think
You should be able to have
property management stuff should not be a thing. Airbnbs, people just buying up houses and then renting it out, and no one gets to use it. It's fucking garbage.
Yeah, I think the Airbnb market, it sounds like it's crashing pretty gnarly though. So hopefully that kind of Hopefully that means that I can fucking buy a house finally. Because that for sure. If you can afford one house already, you're doing better than most people. If you can afford a second house, it's my guy.
Exactly. Yeah, calm down, my man. Let's chill out for a little bit.
Just relax. Let me get a slice of the pie, and then
get some help.
And it's whatever. I'm sure people are sick of hearing the millennial complain, the zesty millennial
complaints. I think I think most of our audience is around, maybe probably slightly younger than us, but it's around our age, so it's probably hashtag relatable. Is what I would guess.
I've been hashtag thinking lately a lot about I wonder what happens when all these fucking boomers in politics die off, and I suppose Gen X will replace it, or then we replace it, because I like to believe having grown up in the situation we and like especially Gen Z has grown up in, I like to believe that we'll do better, but we also could probably just not. I'm sure baby boomers growing up were like, I can't wait till we're in power and we can do things better than they did, and then they just fucking invoked Reaganomics and fucked everything.
Yeah. It is kind of hilarious. I mean, people talked about this to death, but especially with America and American economics and politics, is like we really did have like some form of progress, and then Reagan and everything, like legitimately every problem we got in this bitch, it's almost a direct beeline to that motherfucker. Like, I hope
it's insane. It is actually like the graph. You see the graphs or whatever, where it's like, you know, everything was good, and then Reagan hit, and then it like literally just tanks, and like some of them started to go back up, but like So I don't know. I like to imagine that with the experience we've had of, you know, people struggling to find work, or like raising like minimum wage is not fucking changing despite every inflation just cooking everything out, like all that shit. I'm hoping that by the time our generation gets into power, we'll actually do something about it. But I also feel like it's completely possible we'll get there and be like, wait a second, money? I'll forget.
Well, now that I have some, I might just. Well,
actually, now that I think about it,
time to buy my third property.
Yes, which there is going to be a weird sort of time period where all the rich baby boomers, who again own like fucking most of the wealth, when they all die off. I did see a thing saying like retirement homes are legit going to. Honestly, probably. Hey, here's some life advice: invest in retirement homes, because there's going to be an insane transfer of wealth from the baby boomer generation to retirement villages and like homes and everything, because those things are expensive to begin with. But if they know like, oh, these motherfuckers, these dudes own like they owned 3 properties, which are now being sold or whatever. Like they're gonna ring them for fucking everything they've got. Or there's probably gonna be a weird period in the next like 10, 15 years where just our generation starts inheriting all the houses from our parents, like when they pass on, which like, you know, is a bit of a grim reality people don't want to face.
It's very grim.
But I get that honestly is probably the best bet half of us have to own a property.
Which is crazy, because it's like, historically, that generation and earlier, you would get your own house when you were like
20,
you know, like that's when people were starting families, and it's like all of a sudden there was this halt.
Yeah.
And now it's, well, you'll get it when you're 60,
maybe
70, depends on how long I live.
I may have said this before, but I was watching this YouTube video about like some pizza place in New York, like real authentic old school fucking Italian pizza place, and like the guy who ran it was like 2nd or 3rd generation of the family that like bought it, like started it, you know, in the 40s or something, and you know, like real classic Italian immigrant type beat. And it was like, there's one thing, it was like, oh, my grandma like came over in like the 20s or 30s or whatever, worked in a sweatshop, a literal sweatshop, and after 2 years she was able to buy a house on a sweatshop wage. Dude, in New York City, baby.
So crazy, dude. Because you're making like,
I think she was literally
5 cents an hour, maybe.
Yeah, like there was nothing. She was making nothing. She was able to buy a fucking house on that. That is insane to me.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Oh well, whatever.
Good stuff.
It'll be all right, I think.
Yeah, nah, it'll probably
we adapt. We'll survive. I just I hope there's a turn against you know, the rampant sort of.
I do too.
Pessimism around like it just feels like the wealth inequality is getting worse, and it pisses me off. And I think honestly the next kudos video I'm gonna do is gonna be on this. So fucking spoiler alert for all you idiots out there. But the rising sort of discussion on Twitter about like woke video games, like woke ruining video games. Or was that fucking Sweet Baby Inc? Sweet Baby Inc is ruining video games. It's like people, these fucking idiots, these grifters on Twitter are like, video games are going to shit because they let woke people work on them and fucking let you choose your pronouns, and they have like gay characters in it or whatever. And like sometimes that stuff feels
I'm mad
pandering.
about video games having more options.
Yeah, exactly. And for sure, there are some times where it can feel pandering, where it's like, did you put this in because you genuinely just thought this would be a cool idea for a character, or did you put this in because you wanted like pats on the head?
The Twitter point, you wanted to be able to put someone in your trailer.
I mean, look at how many times. Look at how many times Blizzard's like had been faced with yet another major controversy, and they've been like, "Oh, this character's gay." Like that does happen, but to claim that is like what is genuinely ruining gaming is like, no. Did you have you not noticed that fucking all these rich arsehole CEOs are getting paid like $60 million while laying off like 500 people at a time? Do you not think that maybe has more to do with gaming being bad? Also, gaming is fucking awesome right now. Like we've got there are more good games coming out than ever before, especially in the indie scene.
Animal Well just came out.
I played that for like 3 or 4 hours last night. Phenomenal, amazing game.
I haven't played it yet. I think I'm gonna start streaming it on. I'm just gonna add Wednesday into my stream schedule.
Is insanely tight.
Courtney put a really epic Twitch graphic right there when I say that. I was watching Jared play it for a few hours last night. We were just both absolutely cooked watching it, and dude, the way that game looks, the different mechanics they put in there, just the endless amounts of fun little things you can do, and the sound design.
Oh, the sound design.
Some of those synths that go off in it are so they make my spine tingle.
Yeah, no, I'm loving that game. So to say that gaming is fucked is like, well, there are things that are fucking it. Sorry, the answer is capitalism again, and I'm not saying that there's a better solution than that, but that is what it is. Like let's not argue anything. It's not that there's gay people making video games. It's that
people who care about money more than the art.
It's corporate greed has taken hold. So yeah, sorry to hit you with that one. Of course, it's harder to bully a massive corporation when you can instead bully a random artist who worked on a video game that you've decided is woke. I get that makes you feel more powerful, and I get that feels like you're actually doing something, but you know, it is unfortunately money that is the real problem. I'm really sorry to have to hit you with that. Yeah,
hit you with the cold water.
It's just, I don't know, it's crazy to me. Like I don't know if you've been following the whole like Stellar Blade thing, where people were like saying that Sony censored outfits of this game Stellar Blade.
I have not been on Twitter too much recently.
Oh, you're lucky.
I get my big funny tweets from you guys now.
Well, it's okay for the audience, for you.
Yeah, set it up for everyone.
So there's this game called Stellar Blade. It's a Korean game, and it has a big, beautiful anime babe with fat titties and a big ass.
Nice, I love it.
Not an anime babe. I think she's just Asian. Anyway, apparently it's a fun game. It actually looks really fun. It's like a Souls-like kind of operation. But she wears like skimpy outfits and has an ass and everything, which is like everything that the woke Western games media won't let you have anymore because they took away your ability to enjoy the female body.
Boobies.
Even though when I was playing Baldur's Gate 3 with my friend Jared on Friday, we made it so that Shadowheart was naked the whole time because you're allowed to do that. Woo! That's a pro tip for any Baldur's Gate players. You can set your any character to be wearing their camp outfit, but still have like the stats from their like actual armor. And then you could just take all their underwear off, and then they're just naked running around. So anyway, that's a woke game. But anyway, this Stellar Blade game, it's like
a pretty woke game.
Literally, it is just like it's like sexy, you know, fucking Guna material. Like she wears skimpy outfits and jumps around with her jigglies out, and that's cool. I think that's great. You know, fuck it, why not?
Who doesn't love that?
But these guys were like acting like we need to support this game to prove that like real gamers won't be oppressed, which it just comes off as like, I think you have a porn addiction, but like go off, King.
Yeah, it's like the guys that saw Sydney Sweeney at SNL and she had
same thing, exact same thing.
Her
like
tits
the woke
normally displayed, and they were like, "Wokeism is dead. I saw cleavage today."
Not to use a Rick and Morty quote of all things, but you know that bit where like fucking what's the dad? Jerry goes to
Jerry.
Like, he goes to the daycare of Jerry's and he goes to leave and he's like, "You can't stop me," or whatever, and they're like, "No, you could always get it. That's always been allowed." I think it's the same with massive titties. It's like, no, that's always been allowed. But anyway, so that game came out, and then it turns out that, like, I guess there was a day one patch or something, and for some reason it made it so some of the skimpy outfits, some of them, not all of them, like 3 of them, were like 10% less skimpy. So like there's like a leotard one that used to go, you know, like be up around her like waist or like her hip bones, and now it's like a bit further down, like a bit like this much further down, like an inch further. So you still see her like
a high waist cut.
It was that, and now it is a slightly lower waist cut. And there was like one where it's like there's another one that was pretty much like some kind of like anime made fetish outfit sort of shit, and which she like had on, and then they added, which you could see bare skin under it, and then they added in like like a skinny bra or something underneath it. But you can still, it's like the stupidest thing ever. It's like in terms of skin being shown, there's maybe like 15% less skin, but it's still a skimpy outfit with like her full tits and ass and space. And there's still, there's literally a suit you can unlock, I'm pretty sure, which like makes her almost nude. And that's still in the game. But they're saying that Sony's forcing this company to like censor the games for, I don't know, woke reasons. And apparently the companies, I don't know, I have to look at this a bit more, so this is where it might get a bit inaccurate. But from what I understand, the company was like, no, that was like a decision we made, like it was just a creative decision that for whatever reason we thought that it looked better like this.
Yeah,
and these,
I mean, which is positive.
Which is like, I don't know if you know anything about like how art
I'd
works,
rather have more stuff here.
Yeah,
I think it looks better.
For some reason, they decided that looks better. But like and again, it's still a very like sexual game. Like I've seen cutscenes from it where it's like literally, you know, like the fucking, there'll be a fight cutscene and the camera like zooms past her ass and shit. Like the game is still Kuma bait. I don't know what the fucking problem is. It's like there are still plenty of horny outfits. Even the outfits that were censored are still, it's not like they fucking put a burqa on her. Like she's still wearing a skimpy outfit. She's just wearing like, it's like a little bit less revealing, but they're acting as though that this is like, bag. I'm not kidding. If you go into any tweet on like the Sony account or pretty much any game that's on PlayStation, there'll be all these fucking like brain dead troglodytes being like, #free Stellar Blade. Stella, but you know, like they're like screaming and fucking spraying feces everywhere as though it's like Sony has this Korean company by the balls and is forcing them to fit the woke agenda. When it's like, did you not see that Microsoft just fucking obliterated like 5 companies and now hundreds of people are out of a job? Like what do you think is actually killing gaming here? The 10% less skin on 3 outfits and Stellar Blade, or the industry just obliterating like 1,000 people's livelihoods like every month for the last 6 months.
Absolutely, that's a ridiculous thing to say.
The cognitive dissonance is just insane. And it's like, even if that was true, even if it turns out that Sony is like, hey, yeah, we got Hillary Clinton gave us $10 million, so now you have to make the game woke. Sorry. Even if that was the case, sure, fuck it, it is. It might be. I really don't give a fuck. That is not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when the grand scheme of it. Like I know it makes you feel powerful because it's something you've got a specific target you can point to and say, this artist here or this company here or this small person with 5,000 followers on Twitter we can bully. I know that feels like you're doing something, but I guarantee you are not. Please direct all your anger at Phil Spencer instead. Phil Spencer, Bobby Kotick, all the fucking rich assholes who are ruining this industry. Maybe that's where you should be aiming everything.
Probably.
Not at the poor Korean fucking character designer who was like, oh, maybe she should wear a bra in this outfit. Maybe that's who
was just like, actually, I like this little extra bit of clothing. I'd like to make an adjustment.
That's kind of the vibe I'm going for today. I'm on my fuck the games industry shit. So anyway,
I mean, it's a fair shit to be on if we're spitting here.
Yeah, like gaming's awesome.
It's a pretty shit.
The indie scene's amazing. It is just so fucking sad.
The AAA scene is for sure pretty scuffed, and I think that because of all of the reasons we just listed, it's just money got a hold of it, and
money
so
got a hold of it.
Run more by money rather than passion for making good games.
Look at how many look at like people here, Suicide Squad, that Suicide Squad game that came out. That was also one that they claimed failed because of woke, because they made like there's I don't even know what the fucking reason why that one's woke. Maybe because Harley Quinn's a woman. I don't really fuck. Who gives a fuck? That game failed because it's a fucking live service game in current year, and I mean, live service games can do good. Helldivers is a live service game, but that type of live service game, they're like, no, we're going to be Destiny 2 type live service game. No one fucking wants that. Now everyone's getting sick of the endless grind. People just want like a solid like single player experience. People wanted, and this is from the Arkham guys, right? So like everyone wanted just Arkham Asylum 4, and instead they got this weird co-op like looter shooter thing that like fucking nobody asked for, that they spent
and
$500
they kill
billion
Batman
on.
in it.
Yeah, they did all this shit, and then now it's like got all the fucking season pass, and like I think like 60 people are playing it. Like it bombed. Like it's doing awful. It's not because the game is woke. It's because the game is bad. I
feel like most of the people that complain about that kind of stuff is, and I think we've mentioned this before, but everybody that's like, the gaming industry is completely morally bankrupt. There's nothing good coming out anymore. It's just all the people that only play Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's the people who only play AAA.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't
only play AAA.
Don't look at
yearly annual releases. Nothing else is on the docket for them to play, and it's like, of course, everything seems fucked because you're playing the shittiest.
You're playing
games
the worst
coming
games.
Out.
You're playing the like designed by committee, awful fucking like bland, like the kind of games that are terrified to take any risks because any risk could alienate a potential customer.
Yeah,
like just it's. That again, it's money. That's the problem. Is these producers come in, give a ton of money to a game company, and then expect a return on investment. So they start meddling with it and saying, no, you have to cut this thing out. You have to cut this thing out. And then the games are bad and boring. But I think that's what a lot of it honestly comes down to. I think it's a lot of people who are unable to like quantify why they feel like something. Like. The other thing I've seen pop up lately is people have been claiming that Aphrodite from the game Hades, that her design is a trans man, which is another iconic. Because and here's why.
I swear I've seen art from that, and
first of all, that game has beautiful art, absolute phenomenal art, like really really nice artwork. But she has Aphrodite, the god of love, has cheekbones and shoulder bones, so people were saying that she's a man or has manly features.
Dude, the transvestigating shit is so crazy these days.
Dude, it's hilarious.
It's kind of wild. I mean, we mentioned it earlier, but it's like the most vocally straight dude currently is obsessed with thinking every hot woman is secretly a man.
Which is like, what does that say about you, that you think you secretly believe every hot woman is a man, is trans?
Is trans.
Is that because you secretly want that? Because that's fine. That would rule, actually. But let's not act like that's a genuine fear and not a weird fetish world that you're designing for yourself. But
I don't get it. Like
the Aphrodite thing in Hades, anyway.
Great. She's hot as shit.
It pretty much just comes down to art style, and it's like maybe that game has a unique art style. I don't know how you couldn't like it, but it's an art style. Some people just aren't going to like an art style. There's art styles I hate that some people love, and that's cool. But I feel like it comes down to that, where it's like these people don't like how the game looks. They're not a fan of the art style, but they don't have the like media literacy to fucking put their finger on it and be like, oh, this is why I don't like this, or the colors are off, or I don't like the design of the. So instead, when someone comes along and they say, it's not because of the art design, it's because she's trans. That's why you don't like it, because it's secretly
like,
woke.
That is why I don't like it. I knew I
didn't like it for a reason.
I knew I couldn't have been wrong.
Yeah, no, it's literally that. Same with like all these other games that suck.
Just confirmation bias bullshit.
It really does just show that you don't know how women be. Like,
that's what it is.
It's a weird unashamed like virgin signifier. And that's fine. Hey, if you're a virgin, that's okay. Like, you know, there's
that's
nothing.
Okay, man.
That's fine. We're chill with that here. But let's not.
But you should fix that soon.
You do realize that. Okay, first of all, yeah, well, that's the other thing. It's like this is if you're a virgin, which is probably pretty much everyone who does harp on about this shit. That is the opposite of getting pussy. What you're going on Twitter and complaining about woke video games is the opposite. I think possibly about as far away as you could get from getting pussy.
Yeah, you're pretty much actively running away from pussy.
If getting pussy was a race and you're at the starting line, complaining about woke video games on Twitter would be standing up and running backwards.
Yeah,
it is
out
literally
of the track, just to your car.
Yeah, just getting in your car and driving away from the pussy. That is what
to your complaining about.
What, can you imagine like meeting some guy on Hinge and like he's one of those dudes who like is the sort of dude who complains about woke video games, but he spent a while like he got into the fitness like a lot of those dudes did. He like kind of looks all right, and you sit down with him to have a conversation. And he just starts gushing about fucking the Aphrodite and Hades having cheekbones, and that makes him a man.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That is the opposite. I'm sorry.
Complete opposite, dude.
It's
also,
but it just sorry.
Why do people care so much?
The point is, if you don't understand that a woman can have like, hey, there's women of all kinds out there. I don't know if you've noticed this. There's pretty much every shape and form of cisgendered women out there, and some of them do have masculine features. And some of them feminine, well, traditionally masculine, traditionally feminine. They still have a good old classic pussy, but some of them do look more masculine.
And some of these women have bigger penises than you.
and you're
just gonna have to deal with that, buddy.
Fucking idiot.
They're hotter than you and got bigger penis than you.
That's a double.
What are you gonna do about it?
And they're still not gonna sleep with you because again, polar opposite.
You're homophobic and a piece of shit.
Is sitting on Twitter. Yeah, so I don't know.
Even exactly outside of the homophobia, it's just kind of lame to be bitching about shit on Twitter that much.
Yeah, it's
like even if you take away all the other undesirable traits of someone who's doing that, just someone who's like, yeah, I log like 20-25 tweets a day, taking down the woke libs at Sony who ruined my Gooner game.
What I'm doing was already pathetic enough, just fucking seeing these idiots and getting mad, but then to like actually go and like be batting in the comments for things, like going under every tweet Sony does, being like, free Stella, stop censoring Stellar Blade. It's like,
if you've uttered the phrase free Stella Blade,
I think
kill yourself.
What? Yeah, I think a good litmus test is like, go on a date. First of all, get a date. If you can't, that's probably proof enough. But then if you can get a date, bring that up with your date. See the reaction, because the thing is, no one cares. Like, legitimately, nobody gives a shit in the grand scheme of things. Like Twitter, Reddit, all these things. They're such a insular community. I mean, think of how many times it seems like, for example, the 2016 election, if you were online, then you'd be like, oh, there's no way Trump's winning this. Like, everyone fucking hates this guy. Like, everyone's like, no one loves Hillary Clinton, but like, surely just based on the vibes on the internet.
Exactly.
Surprise, that is not the case.
Old boy pulled it out.
Same with like, remember the fucking internet, what was it called? Net neutrality? Like, that was all over the fucking internet.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, there's no way. Like, this is unanimously, everyone hates this shit. Like, there's no way they'll pass it. It got passed. The internet doesn't.
And
speak
on top of that, I don't think nothing happened.
Well, they actually just undid it recently, which is kind of funny.
Oh, really? Huge.
But but it's that sort of shit anyway. Like sure. On Twitter, there might be fucking 50,000 people who follow one of these grifters who are convinced to their core that woke video games are the reason why video games aren't fun. Most people don't give a fuck. Like most people come home from work in a shitty job. They want to just turn on their PlayStation and run around and just shoot stuff in Call of Duty. Yeah. And if they see that Call of Duty has a fucking, you can buy a trans flag or a gay flag as like your little stupid call sign thing when you kill someone, they're probably going to be like, oh, yep, there it is. They might not like it if they're not in, like, if they are, slightly homophobic, but I doubt they're going to fucking like snap their game in half or like go on the internet and complain. They'll probably just move on. They'll probably like, well, whatever.
Yeah, the average, like, I probably knew some people who would get upset about it, but like, even just speaking of the average guy, the average person who's like, I don't know how I feel about the LGBTQ community. The average person going through Call of Duty, seeing something like that, goes like, and then moves on.
Yeah.
That's about the extent of
the
average person's homophobia.
Probably.
If you're getting hysterical about it on Twitter.com,
you are in the minority.
I don't know how else to put it to you.
Get some help.
Stop it.
Stop it. Go outside. Talk to people. Get help. Because it doesn't get any better.
Yeah, no.
So anyway, that's my soapbox. But yeah, I think I would like to do a video on that. Maybe my only hesitation is, oh boy, the comments on that one will be bad.
Oh, you'll get some crazy comments on that one.
Yeah, which I feel like the fuck thing is, I feel like the my point is pretty reasonable. So I'm not even necessarily disagreeing with them in terms of like, because I'm sure maybe there is some woke conspiracy that's corrupting video games. That's still not what's making them bad. That is like very far on the bottom of the list of genuine reasons why things are shitty right now for the industry.
Yeah, the 3-second question in Starfield asking what would you prefer to be called is not the reason that game wasn't super fun.
And if we want to talk, if you want to dig really deep as well, I said that weird. If you want to dig really deep right now, the reason why people do that shit is, again, surprise capitalism. Like, these companies wouldn't do all this quote unquote woke shit if they didn't think it made them money or made them look good, which makes you want to give them more money. Like, these companies they'll cut all this shit out to re-release it in the Middle East where that sort of stuff isn't allowed. So they clearly have no morals. Like, they don't give a fuck. They're just doing it because they think it makes them look good. With
Disney all the time, like Disney movie posters, especially with the Marvel and Star Wars stuff. Any of the black characters that were on the poster in the States, they not showing up on the Chinese poster.
Yeah, exactly. In case some like old Chinese woman walks home and fucking gets a heart attack because she sees a black man out of the corner of her eye. it's they don't care. They're doing it because they think it makes them look good. That's the real woke conspiracy, is that the general American audience sees inclusivity and thinks, oh, that's nice. And so they're going to keep doing it. That's the real. So until you can sway all of the the normies, the people who aren't on Twitter, the people who again get a fucking Jack in the Box choose your own munchies meal and then go home and fucking hop on Starfield for 20 hours and think, yeah, this is a fun game, even though it's not. Until you convince those people that pronouns are bad. You're done. It's over. It's Jova. I think the final thing I'll say on this, and I think this probably exemplifies the whole thing. There was one of these stupid Twitter accounts that does that. I can't remember. I think it was one that literally reviewed games to find out if they're woke or not, so you knew what to avoid if that was something you cared about. And
it's
the game,
like some focus on the family bullshit. But
it pretty much was. But there was that game. Was it Celeste? I think I always called it Molest.
Yeah.
But but anyway, there's a cutscene of that where the character's like on a computer and they have like stickers or like posters on their wall, and one of them is like the two flags like crossing over, where it's like one of them was the gay flag and one of them was the trans flag. And he posted like a screenshot of that, like super zoomed in, like so like is the only thing you can see, and posted that. And then someone in the replies posted like what it actually is. It's literally like this big on the screen. Like it's like 2 pixels tall. Like it's more than that, but it's a small fraction of the screen that you could very easily miss. That is like has no relevancy in the game whatsoever. It's just like a background piece of background art in a cutscene. And someone was like, well, no, this is what you're showing isn't accurate. This is how it actually looks in game. And I think he just said, yeah, but if you zoom in on it, that's how it looks. And it's like, yeah, I guess if you do focus exclusively on the thing you don't like, it will look bad. You fucking idiot. And that's pretty much the whole thing. I was playing
Wolfenstein, and if you zoom in on this Nazi flag, it's the only thing you can see.
Wolfenstein
interesting game devs.
Interesting. Yeah. Anyway. You can emulate every Nintendo game for free. Just do that.
Just
you probably have a better time if that's
Mario 64.
Bury your head in the sand.
Or if you don't want to play it, come watch me play Donkey Kong 64 on my...